Badra Ali Sangare. He plays for Free State Stars in South Africa. So in terms of defenders, their captain, Serge Aurier, Tottenham Hotspurs, he plays as a right back. He's not managed to get a lot of playing time in Tottenham because up ahead of him is, of course, Trippier, who's been having a really good season since the World Cup. So he's been struggling to get into the squad. He's played 17 times only in the 2018 season, but he's just unlucky. He's still very talented, so they're going to be looking up to him to actually lead the team. Next up, we have Mamadou Bagayoko. He plays for Red Star Truiden. Then we also have Soileman Bamba. He plays for Stade Rennes, that is in France. He is a left back. Then we have Sheikh Komora. He plays for Wydad Casablanca in Morocco. And then one of the key players for them, he's one of the most experienced players. He's 27 years old. He also plays in a local team. Interestingly enough, he will be playing at left back. It's Wonlo Koulibaly. Have I pronounced that correct? Yes. So he's going to start most likely at left back. He's started for most of the African Cup qualifiers. Next up, we have Wilfried Cannon. He is the anchor in the defense. He will be the center back. He will be leading the entire defense. He plays for ADO Den Haag. He's 25 years old, but he's a veteran in the team at such a young age. He's had 38 caps, so he's going to be key in the center. Next up, we have Ismail Traore. He from Angers. As you remember, if you're a Manchester United fan, Eric Bailly got injured in April. So ideally, he would have been partnering with Wilfried Cannon, but now they'll have to look for another replacement. So far, Ismail Traore is one of the people that might actually partner with him in the middle. So we'll have to decide whether he'll play centre-back. That's up to the coach, Kamara. Next up in midfield, we have Victorien Angban. He plays for Metz. We also have Jean-Philippe Bamin, okay, so the G is silent. So he's a defensive midfielder who can also play centre-back. So the coach might decide to partner him up with Conan or decide to play him as the defensive midfielder. So at least he's a utility player, so he'll be very key for that side. And then, of course, Frank Kessie, he plays for AC Milan. He's 22 years old, but he's likely to be a key figure. He's actually had quite a good season there. He scored 7 goals and assisted 7 times in the entire season. So he's going to be one of the key players that they look to. He spent most of his career in Italy. So in terms of defense, there's no one else you'd want in that position. Next up, we have Ibrahim Sangare. He plays for Toulouse. He'll be one of the options. Then we have Jean-Michel Seri. He used to play for Nice. Right now, he's signed for Fulham. He's played a full season with Fulham. Fulham has just been relegated, so I don't know how that'll affect his mentality going into the African Cup of Nations, and maybe he'll want to prove a point. So we'll see how that goes for him. And then we have Geoffrey Seredi. He plays for Neuchâtel Xamax, one of the backup options. Then we have forwards. This is where Ivory Coast are dangerous because all of the forwards have either experience or are on form. It's one of the two. So we have Roger Saleh, he plays for Young Boys. Then we have Wilfred Bony. If you've watched the Premier League for quite a number of years, you know how key he's been for Ivory Coast and for Swansea, especially in the 2014-2015 season. He's scored a lot of goals. He's currently playing in Al Arabi in Doha, but that is on loan from Swansea. He decided to move there in January, I think to keep fit so that he can actually get selected in the squad for the African Cup of Nations. So he made that decision to go on loan so that he can at least maintain his fitness, and he has a lot of competition. That's why I think he made that decision. And one of those competitors is Maxwell Cornet. He plays for Olympique Lyonnais, 22 years old, and he has had a stellar season in Ligue 1. He's actually scored 4 goals in 12 appearances for the national team. He's a winger. Then he's also going to be competing with Zaha. So Zaha also needs to look out for that. He scored 23 goals and assisted 12 times in Ligue 1 in 38 appearances. So he's going to be one of those people you need to look out, and he's explosive on the wing. Then, of course, we have Max-Alain Gradel. He is very important, but I think he'll be moved more towards midfield because he's one of the most experienced players in the squad. I think one of the oldest, 31 years old. And he's had 11 goals and he's played for the team 67 times. So he brings experience to the team as well as form. Then we have Jonathan Khadija, Aston Villa. He's very good. Nicolas Pepe for Lille. And Wilfred Zaha will have to be competing for all of those positions. So those are the forwards. Of course, Jonathan Khadija, Aston Villa have been promoted to the Premier League, so he's coming into the competition with a high. So that is your Ivory Coast squad. I don't know how they're feeling about that squad right now.
I am just going to be biased, Mukami, and say Harambee Stars can beat this team any day, any time. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But for a minute, can we talk about the man or the gentleman who put this team together? Maybe I'll ask a couple of questions to the fans here. And this is what Ibrahim Kamara said, the man in charge of the Elephants in this tournament. And I don't know whether it scares you or it doesn't. And I don't know whether he got some flack at home or not. But this is what he said. The 2019 AFCON is not a priority in terms of the final victory, he told journalists in Abidjan, and this was in April, right? There's quality in our team, and therefore our objective is to build something solid for the AFCONs in 2021 and 2023, as well as the 2022 World Cup. So clearly, the focus is not this Africa Cup of Nations, right? Do you think he's using this Africa Cup of Nations, this tournament, as a build-up, you know, to more important tournaments in the future? And why do you think he said that? May I just start with you? Does that scare you as a fan?
The Cameroon won with a very young squad. That's the same mentality you're using. It's a strategy, I would say. Psychologically, you don't want to come with a
so you think it's a strategy, a psychological strategy?
Exactly,
right?
exactly. And it's gonna work so well for us. So you guys keep on expecting not so much from us, but you're gonna surprise guys. Yeah.
2015, the last time they won this. 2019, that's about 4 years. Do you think Ivory Coast is coming into this tournament as the underdogs? I mean, a lot of people within Africa will tell you Ivory Coast has got to be one of the top teams. When you talk about football in Africa, there are probably only about 5 or 6 teams that we always talk about: Ivory Coast, Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon, and maybe Egypt. You know, are you coming into this tournament as underdogs, do you think?
Yeah, I think we have some opportunity of coming with this AFCON. You see, in 2015, this generation of many of them, like the generation of Drogba and others, wasn't there. We went with few of them, Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure, Tiene, you know, but we made it. So to me, we have an opportunity to win this AFCON. Yes, so I have that confidence.
Okay. Yeah. My question to you about maybe the weakest link you think. Earlier on, I alluded to the fact that most of the players from Ivory Coast didn't have a really good season, and I think Mukami mentioned Sergio Aurier from Tottenham. Everybody, when he joined Tottenham, everybody thought that he'll have a good game. The same thing with Eric Bailly in Manchester United, but that's not the case. So what do you think, or who do you think might be the weakest link? We've mentioned Wilfred Zaha might have a good game, but who do you think in that team will probably be the weakest link? And they play, you know, abroad. In your view, just briefly.
Well, thank you for your question. I think the team entirely is good. The selection are good, but for me, I mostly look from the defensive side, like with our fullbacks, because since the injury of Eric Bailly, we literally don't have anyone who's solid enough to just cover that, to cover his position. Yeah. So I'm really keen on that defensive point.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I think I'll hand it over back to you, Mukami, to carry on for
I don't know if you've noticed how polite these guys are. Every time you ask them, they're like, thank you for your question.
I know, they are.
They came on time.
But you know what, like they said, it could be a psychological game they're playing for us here. Just like they're trying to be, we're just being underdog. And then kidogo, you see their pride coming out. But hey, guys, we hope for the best for you. And, you know, even though we're rooting for Harambee Stars, and we're hoping that we actually meet these guys, you know, at some point. It's scary, though.
Yeah, let me look at some of the feedback. Remember, the question that we were asking today was whether they can regain their former glory, considering that they got out in the group stages in the last edition. We have Catherine Achiu says the squad is really impressing, and I hope they'll score more goals. We have at Felix Modric, who says Ivory Coast can try. Zaha is a good player. Then we have Ivan Lango, who says, I was disappointed when their coach left out Gervinho, whose current form is good, and opted for Wilfred Bony. I can see Pacom is really nodding. Then we have at Big Vi who says it's not going to be an omen for the football team. I believe will tame Senegal. That's in reference to the 12-4 beating that Kenya got in the beach games. Then we have Betten Benson at 15 who says, I hope the Elephants this time will not really get that chance. They need to pull up since AFCON this time is more competitive. Then we have at Ogutu Baba who says, Ivory Coast is going to perform well. They have a good team. Then we have Stanlas K26 who says, so Nimrod, Tabu can speak English that fluently.
Oh, wow.
Kuzoea mtu na Swahili ni mbaya sana.
Mazejo, wacha nitarudisha Kiswahili sasa hivi tu. Ni vile tu nimewezwa hapa na mwenzangu Mukami, lakini Kiswahili bado kitarejea, usijali lakini.
Okay, now Pacom, I want you to come up and step up here. I want you to now give us, ideally when you're facing South Africa, I want you to put up your squad, your ideal starting squad.
Yeah. So, yeah, first of all, I would like especially to thank, how do you say in English, those who are watching us from home.
The viewers.
The viewers,
or the audience.
For their reaction, because it really shows how interesting your people are in Kenya, and then they really like football. But then maybe it will come. So
some shade there.
Yeah. So as you said rightly, we'll start by Sylvain Boho, because he's more experienced in that team. And then we have our local player. It was one of the best in the season that we will put him here. And then of course here is our captain, which is Serge Aurier.
Yeah,
no,
just press it. Yeah.
Press it.
Yeah.
Serge Aurier. And then here we'll put Wilfried Cano. We'll put Wilfried Cano here. And then we choose between Soumaïla Traoré and maybe Souleymane Bamba. But I will go more for Souleymane Bamba because at least he has a bit of Premier League in his body. I think from there he can stand very well. So here we'll go for Franck Kessié. He had a very good season in AC Milan. And then with him, we'll put Bame. Is a new one in our team. Bame, Philippe Bame, is a very, very good. Yeah. And then a bit sorry about that young guy. You know, in our team we have, how do you say in English, binationals. Dual nationals. Those are born in France. They did everything in France. Even played under 19 in France, but then choose to come to support his team. So we like him for that. And here we'll put a more experienced guy. He's called Mas Gradel, Alain. Yeah. Mas Gradel.
And he's had a really good season as well.
Very good season, Mas Gradel. And then, of course, for our English Premier League guy, we'll put Wilfried Zaha.
So here. You prefer to start with Zaha?
With Zaha really should start. And then here we'll put Nicolas Pepe. We'll put Pepe because he had a very good season with Lille. And then in terms of striker, we'll put a more experienced striker who is Wilfried Bony. So this
Jonathan Kodjia and Maxwell Cornet, despite their good,
but
they'll be backup.
Yes, so we need at least to make this mix.
Okay.
About
and Wilfried Zaha has actually played in the African Cup of Nations before. So at least he has some experience.
So they have some more experience. So ideally that will be our squad to start. And as you ask a question, the team we must beat in this AFCON is Morocco, because we have a bit of story with Morocco. They deny to go to the World Cup, so we need to beat them.
Do you guys all agree with his decision? Would you change anything?
It's perfect.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. This is the ideal squad for Ivory Coast. They're facing South Africa, and he said they must beat Morocco. Interesting sentiments. The top of the group. So we'll see how they'll do. I know they've not been having such a good time, but now it's that time again. 40,000 Kenya shillings up for grabs. The number is going up on the air. Start calling in 40,000, and I wanted to go. I've made the questions today even easier than they were. Like, I've made them so easy. So if the money does not go today, I don't know.
Maze, you're doing mob. Kwanza saizi. Unajua kamwezi karibu kukata kona. Hey. So here's a chance, quick fire, round in your tunaanza na simu kwanza,
yes,
isn't it?
We're
starting with a phone call, and then I have, I suspect if we don't get a winner from those who are calling, we'll have to do it here.
Yes.
That's
why you guys have your numbers, so hold on.
Do you have your numbers? Are you sure? So you're hoping that the guys who are going to make call in will not get the right answers, right? Okay.
How much is 40,000 in your currency?
Times 5.5.
Times 5.5. That would be 200.
Let's test your math,
Yeah, that would be 200 and something, I think. Yeah.
So put the number is up on your screen. So call in. 40,000 Kenya shillings on the air. Okay, so we have a caller. Mike from Ruiru.
Mike hajachelewa
Hi.
Hello, Mike.
Yes.
Hi, Mike from Ruiru. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I want to give you the rules for the quick fire.
Yes.
I'm going to ask 12 questions.
Yes.
You only need to get 8 of them correct in 60 seconds.
Okay.
To win 40,000 Kenya shillings. If you don't know the answer to a question, just say pass. Don't waste time. If you don't know the answer, just say pass. I'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
Okay. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
So, I'm going to start asking you the questions. Mike, are you ready? Let's put the timer.
Okay.
Mike, are you still there?
Yeah.
Other than Michael Olunga, which other 2 forwards are in the Harambee Stars AFCON squad?
Pass.
Who is the Harambee Stars kit manufacturer for AFCON?
Macron.
How old is Josh Onyango?
It's 7.
When did Ivory Coast last win the African Cup of Nations?
15.
What is Ivory Coast national team's nickname?
The Elephant.
For what club does Wilfred Zaha play for?
Aston Villa.
What is the national team captain for Ivory Coast?
Right, Aurier.
Who is the Ivory Coast national team coach?
Pass.
Which non-North African has won the most AFCON titles?
Pardon?
Which non-North African country has won the most African Cup of Nations titles?
Egypt.
Name one Eastern African team. How many are those, Roba? 4. Mike, you've got 4 correct answers. Better luck next time, Mike.
What?
So now, guys, I know you guys were like wishing.
That's it.
Now one of you have a chance to win 40,000 Kenya
I'll tell you
shillings.
what, Mukami, if you'd have given me the chance, I think I'd have gotten 7 of those. Next time, please consider. Next time, please consider the host, the guest anchor, please. Next time. So I need 8, maybe 7.5.
So you have the ball. Let's
yes,
see.
I have the ball.
And when you get the 8 answers, you come and collect your money. It's as simple as that. So everyone has your...
So there's 5 of them, huh? So I just get to pick one, and then if you get lucky, the rest of you don't get it, don't feel bad. You know, you still have the African Cup of Nations to win, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Okay. Unataka kuangalia namba karibu, wewe ni Sirig, eh?
Hey, finally spoken Kiswahili. I was wondering if you're going to go the whole show.
Number 2, number 3. Who's number 3? You can open your... Oh, there you go. The guy in green, the guy with the away T-shirt. Does he need to stand? Or
yes, come with me.
Come forward. Lazima tuone kama utashinda ama gwara.
So I'm going to start repeating for you the rules. You'll just stand here and you'll face me. Okay. Just inside the booth, yes. And then you'll face me.
Okay.
Let me explain the rules one more time.
Yeah.
I'll ask you 12 questions.
Okay.
You only need to get 8 correct answers. If you don't know the answer to the question, just say pass. So that we move on to the next question, because you only have 60 seconds. Okay. Remind me your name? Ngolo. Hold the mic here so everyone can hear your answer.
Okay.
Okay. Ngolo, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's start the timer. Which teams did Cote d'Ivoire face in the last 2 friendlies?
Uganda.
2 teams. Uganda and?
Pass.
Name 1 player who scored for Cote d'Ivoire during their friendly against Zambia.
Wilfred Bony.
What other English Premier League club did Wilfred Zaha play for?
Crystal Palace.
What stage of the tournament did Cote d'Ivoire exit in 2017?
Pass.
Name 1 player from the Cote d'Ivoire national team that plays in the Cote d'Ivoire Premier Division.
Wallo.
Name any club Wilfred Bony played for in the United Kingdom.
Manchester City.
Other than Wilfred Zaha, name any other Ivory Coast national who plays in England right now.
Koja.
Who is the all-time leading Ivory Coast goal scorer?
DJ Drogba.
Who did Cote d'Ivoire beat in the 2015 AFCON final to become champions?
Ghana.
Which player in the AFCON squad... Do I get to finish the question? Which player in the AFCON squad has played the most games for Cote d'Ivoire?
Pass.
How many? 6. That was so good. Ah, so close, so close, so
Let's
close.
just hope the elephants will not perform like you, eh? And they have to go all the way, right? They have to go all the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm holding a football here, courtesy of DSTV. So you know what they used to do back in the day when we were young? If you could juggle the ball properly, then automatically you'd be in the first 11 team. In my primary school, at least.
So that's how we never made it.
That's how
we.
What do you? So that's how, you know, it used to be automatic. That, you know, if you can do 50, 100, you're probably a good footballer. You can control it. So what I want to do with this, gents, come up. Whoever does this gets to go away or walk away with this ball. Okay?
Get 1 chance each.
Paco, do you feel like you want to do this as well? I don't think you're wearing the right shoes, though. You leave it for them, okay? So we want to juggle, huh? And the one with the most juggles gets to run away with this. So you guys will help me count. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? And zamani wajua mkama ulikuwa unafanya kidogo hivi, unafanya kidogo, alafu unaenda chini. Haya, sawa.
Hey, sure.
Alright,
Okay.
help me count for him, eh? Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Ndugu tafadhali kaa chini. Take a seat.
Sit down.
You don't get 2 chances in this one, eh?
1 chance.
Okay, 1 chance. 1 chance. And you can show us many stars if you want to, eh? All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
6. Okay, take a seat, bro.
Okay.
Take a seat. Go low. Let's see what you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there was 3, 6, and 5.
You can do.
He did 6.
We were with the Burundians. Do you know
6.
how many they got? 61 and 38.
Wow, guys, we're doing badly, eh? But anyway, you guys are fans, you're not footballers, eh? Okay, let's see what you can do, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. So
All right, so we have a winner. Do you want to do this, Mukami? We have a winner. We have a winner. But, hey, Baze, Saba, mko down. Mko down. Mngejaribu hata 20 hivi kitu. Mngejaribu hata 20.
They don't speak Swahili.
Huyu anajua Kiswahili.
Unajua? Okay.
Huyu anajua.
You're just trying to make sure you...
Nimemwona mbali huyu.
Congratulations for that. Now, it's about that time for us to finish the show.
Sure.
And now the money has just gone up, 45,000 Kenya shillings. And tomorrow the African Cup of Nations starts. And as I mentioned before, DSTV have you covered. All you need is a 1-month subscription to get a decoder for 3,999 shillings. You get a compact subscription that will give you all the African Cup of Nations games live in Super Sport 7 and in HD. Terms and conditions do apply. So make sure you run out and buy that DSTV decoder. Now it's time for us to go. Tomorrow, big surprises for you. It's the start of the African Cup of Nations, so the show is going to change a little bit more. So make sure you tune in from 1:30. It's going to be a good one. Thank you so much, Nimrod.
Thank you so much for having me.
coming.
But can I ask you something? Your predictions.
Are you,
I mean,
are you going to come tomorrow? No. Are you coming back tomorrow?
Are you asking me to come? Are you asking me to come tomorrow?
Did you enjoy the show?
Are you asking
I'm
me?
asking you to come back tomorrow.
I will come.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
But now
can I
there'll
ask
be
you-
another surprise other than
starting
Nimrod.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Predictions.
Starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll
No,
predict.
who's
See,
winning?
tomorrow
No.
we'll predict. We'll predict
Kesho
tomorrow.
utabadilisha.
Kesho tutachange. Predict kesho.
Maybe we can ask these guys
Usijali.
because they're not probably going to be here tomorrow.
Nani atashinda? Who do you think will win?
Who do you think will win? The African
Zimbabwe.
Cup?
No, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Zimbabwe.
Oh, the game. No, but Egypt.
Egypt.
They are organizing, so they will just open the
Okay.
Okay, so tomorrow the African Cup of Nations begins. Tomorrow the real games begin. So make sure you join us on Viva Africa 2019. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back same time tomorrow, same place. See you then.
It's all about the clouds. I wanna be free, like Nelson Mandela.